the Gate Northern qualifiers. Game 1, you've got the Mortal side with SG. You've got Varian, Kagan, Zalgus, King of Masks, and Amaranth, effectively the Wombo combo that we mentioned a little bit ago. Versus Spirit side, Bob is going to be bringing Michaela, Moya, Dibs, Mara, and Sakari to the table. So, I mean, we have comfort picks here. I mean, we have McScrag on his Moya, right? We have Fey Rust on Varian, someone he's very comfortable playing. Evaniscus playing that King of Mass once again, you know?
Yep.
A lot of people think when they see SG pick Zalgus, it's going to Evaniscus, you know? But no, showing the breadth of his pool, the effort that he's put in to kind of broaden that Shaper pool and able to play King of Mass pretty effectively. We saw it effectively a few games ago. In Taiga, Amaranth is his kind of go-to Shaper.
Absolutely is. I was going to point that out. I was like, you know, I'm a little bit, it's a little bit interesting that they're keeping Acids on Zalgus, keeping Evaniscus on King of Mask, but last series, Evaniscus did an outstanding job in Game 2 on King of Mass, so you can't discount that at all. But Taiga should be a presence to be reckoned with on Amaranth. Cuss, what can you say? Cuss on Kagan is actually a very solid pick. We see him play it all the time in solo queue. Mm-hmm. The man knows how to mechanically work that Shaper to the point where he gets ahead in farm, and he's really going to need that against McScrag on Moya. You know, Moya, very fast farming Shaper. Cuss is going to have his work cut out for him, keeping up with him.
Absolutely. So looking at the loadouts across the board, we've got that Life Drain, Armor, Power, and Mastery for Fey Rust. We've got a little bit of Health Regen, Armor, Power, Mastery, Ravager, and Hoplite for Cuss's Kagan. Armor, Defense Pin, and Outrider for that Zalgus. Health, Armor, Magic Resist, and Warden for the King of Mass. And last but not least, the Armor, Health Regen, Magic Resistance, and Defense Penetration for Amaranth.
Alrighty then. And looking at Tulsa, Michaela, Armor, Life Drain, Power, Mastery, same kind of even loadout we've seen all day long. That Duelist with a bit of Armor and Haste from McScrag on Moya. Defense Pin, Armor, and Magic Resist on Dibs. No Warden. That's kind of an interesting thing to point out. And then Health, Armor, Magic Resist, Warden on Mara. Rounding it out is Sakari with Armor, Health, and Warden. And is that a Gladiator Dibs that we see?
It appears to be. You know, Otzi has done crazier things, so I'm super excited to see that Carrot Festival Dibs. That ward is down for SG, so they know exactly what Bob is trying to do here. Bob trying to split the difference and sandwich this team of SG right now. The Ice Line's already coming out, forcing an early blink from Amaranth. That is a 5-minute cooldown, so that won't be up till about 6 minutes.
That is absolutely huge. Getting a blink that early in the game. 5 minutes of no escapes aside from Wave Rider for Amaranth. Gotta watch that. Got to watch that. So, Gladiator Dibs in the grand finals.
I mean, it's not unfamiliar to Otzi. That's kind of the thing. Whenever I think of Otzi, I think weird gladiators.
Right.
You know, that's what he likes to do. And that's what we talked about, you know, a few weeks ago in kind of the team profile for Tulse and in the team profile for BOB, is that they're just like, Otzi, what do you want to play? And he's like, I want to play this. And they're like, okay, we'll let you play that, and we'll kind of form a team around it. So, Gladiator Dibs, unconventional, objectively, but subjectively for Team BOB, completely normal.
Completely normal. I mean, is the grand finals when there's $1,500 on the line? Is that the time to kind of play those wacky Shaper compositions?
You know, why the heck not? And
Right.
if you're very confident in the play of someone like Otzi, who is just a solid mechanical player, he could really play anything and probably do fine with it. So, you know, they're not thinking about their environment, and I like that. They're not saying, oh, it's the grand finals, play safe, don't try cool things, don't do new things. They're going for it. And that's one thing, again, talking to Tulse earlier in the day, he said that they play for fun. You know, you see a lot of interesting, like, back pings or question mark pings coming out from them randomly. They spam it, and they do that because they try to have fun and goof around, because they're of the mindset that if one of them tilts, they all start to tilt. So really, SG needs to take advantage, maybe even pick on one member of BOB and end up snowballing from the tilting of BOB.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's great. Keep a positive mindset. Mm-hmm. You know, keep the team keep one member of the team positive. Everybody on the team stays positive. On the flip side of that, though, Dibs is actually a great pickup for the rest of the composition of the team, because with Sakari single damage, Tulsa's single damage on Michaela, Dibs is going to add just a ton, especially if he builds power.
That collateral comes out raking across the face of King of Mass. Down bot, you see Cuss in this secondary brush. We're going to see, I believe, the junglers meet in this armor buff. Which team is going to react first? Already, SG has all 3 members on this armor buff. Dibs, Mara, and Moya are not going to give this up without a fight. Burden of Knowledge does reveal it. The buff does go to Cuss, it looks like, but the 3-man chain comes out, followed by the Great Rift. Cuss falls super low. The Tailwind of 50 Shades trying to catch up to him, but the Quicksand will slow both members of BOB that are in pursuit, and that is a buff in the favor of Cuss, and no kills right there.
Yep, they both have 3 and 3 buffs. McScrag did end up stealing the armor buff earlier from Cuss, so Cuss did end up just a little bit lower, which means he's going to have to back earlier, so he is going to be falling just a wee bit behind right now, but I don't think that's going to affect him too much in the long run.
Yeah, 3 for 3 buffs, but Moya money pigs.
Yep.
Kagan got so low that he could not stick around for his money pigs. Moya, or McScrag on Moya rather, knows the absolute limits of how to play Moya. He knows what he can get back from his recharge. He knows what he can take in the jungle with his loadout. A very intelligent player. He's going to take money pigs, which I would imagine in the grand scheme of things puts him a little bit ahead of that guy.
All right, we see a little bit of a not quite deep ward, but just angling, cheating a little bit towards the mortal side there. Iron Rust and Evaniscus keeping the lane nice and frozen. Both sides, neither side like venturing too far into the other end of the lane right now.
One thing that I notice about these two teams in particular, kind of being at the top of their game, they really value vision around that parasite area because I think they're intuitive and they think that they expect the other teams to roam. They expect them to go between lanes because, in Dawngate with 2 lanes, the lanes are much closer together, allowing for more roaming opportunities and roaming potential. So spotting roams as early as you possibly can really, really helps out your team in the long run. So these teams, I believe more than any other team that we've seen today, really value those centrally located parasite wards, at least for the first few kind of rotations of wards.
Absolutely. McScrag securing his second set of money picks there. That's going to give him a little bit of an edge as far as money goes right now. He is going to be up in Vim. Probably going to let him either go back, pick up either a Desire, I would imagine, or maybe even build into that Pride early on, eventually into a Vengeance. What do you think looks like he's grabbing a Hunger and a Life right now.
Yeah, I mean, he already went back after he took those bottom money pigs, so now those top money pigs aren't going to really pay off. They're not going to net him any valuable items until he does go back. And at this point, since he has the life and the hunger and the resilience, he doesn't need to go back for a long time. I mean, that's kind of Moya's strong suit, especially depending on the ability he's maxing, whether he is maxing his Q or his E or even just his E. People debate whether they want to max shock or recharge first, but I believe McScrag is one of those Moya players that maxes recharge second. So he's going to have a lot of life drain and a lot of health back in the jungle.
So it's Bolt, then recharge. Or Bolt, then Shock, then Recharge, right?
No, Bolt, Recharge, Shock.
Bolt, Recharge, Shock. That's when I'm playing Moya, that is my normal cadence as well.
He is level 6, sitting on top of this ward right now, so the enemy is well aware of the pick potential. McScrag on Moya, of course, with that Bolt and Landfall, can cover a large amount of distance. So you see those 2 bot laners right there, Acids and Taiga, playing as far back as possible. A nice deep ward from BOB, not quite spotting out Kagan right there, but if he does come in to potentially postulate or posture up for a counter gank, they will know of his presence in that brush.
McScrag again showing why he is such a good jungler. He's got those timers down in his head. He knew that his camp was coming up at about 6:45. He was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and guess that so is Cuss's, and he was absolutely right. That
Moya could get caught out here. The King of Mass has been roaming down, so there are 4 members of SG down here. McScrag, I would have to expect, might have to burn a Landfall to get out of here. The Quicksand not quite slowing down McScrag enough for Cuss to catch up, and that is going to be kind of a semi-failed roam for King of Mass. He didn't get anything out of it, but what they lost was damage and health on this fight.
Absolutely, and they also lost some valuable time. Cuss is actually going to find himself falling pretty far behind in a second, because guess what? Moya is about to go top, get her power buff, and then start her buff rotation, because that armor buff down there where Cuss was, that's not coming up for a while. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see Moya make a beeline straight for the armor buff, because McScrag already has the timer on that one, because he took the last one as well.
McScrag just showing the strength of a very, very high-level jungle being played here. And that's not to discredit Cuss QT whatsoever. These are both fantastic junglers, and this is absolutely the matchup to watch. These people can make a huge impact on the game whenever they make their presence felt in the laning phase, whether it's the big haul or the landfall coming out from Moya. You see Tulse just raking back and forth with that collateral, dealing tons of damage to Feyrust. And there it is. Cuss has started this armor buff. Will McScrag look for this or really look for a gank? It looks like he's going to ward at least. The Endless Lights comes out, just kind of pushing Moya out of the way. And Cuss going to secure that armor buff of his own for the first time this game.
Yep. As Spinal Dash said earlier, sometimes discretion, caution is the better part of Valor there. Varian getting a little bit ahead. You probably didn't want to like try and match up with a Varian and a King of Mass there. Varian did manage to get a little bit ahead, with that solo farming time that he got while Evaniscus was roaming bottom. So taking a quick look at items right now, Acids with the early aggression. We kind of saw that. I'm sure we all saw that coming. Iron Rust still hasn't gone back yet. He actually just went back, picking up the Ambition already, right into the power. Cuss, Resilience, Life, Will. Nothing unexpected.
Bob, however, taking early Parasite, using the itemization window to their advantage, and that's the mark of a great team. They know exactly when these teams want to back. They know exactly when SG needs to go by. They use the power spike to their advantage to fend off any potential engages from SG that may be even ill in SG's favor. They may have to do it out of desperation, but the power spike from BOB came at a perfect chance for them to take a pretty uncontested Parasite.
Tul's taking advantage of a little bit of a lack of pressure in the top lane, trying to shove the top lane in a little bit, keep the pressure on Varian up on the top lane. It's much more difficult for him to farm while he's under binding than it would be for him to farm out in the open, I would say, right now.
Absolutely. You see Cuss in that top lane potentially looking for a gank. Little does he know. The pickup from Moya will land Acids in some hot water, but a blink and a fantastic chain into Final Chapter almost takes down McScrag. That was a turnaround if I've ever seen one. Even though no kills were net, he got out of a very sticky situation.
Such composure from Acids right there. Kept his cool, kept his calm, landed, knew he was going to immediately get rooted by the Mara, managed to blink away, then just had the presence of mind to turn around, Chains of Fate, and unload a devastating Final Chapter there. Well played by Acids.
I'm honestly... Tulsa. Beautiful waltz out of the finale from King of Mass will get him to safety. That Chaos Shell not going to be quite enough to take him down. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed. I feel like BOB thought that was such a sure kill. Mara still has Force of Nature up. She didn't even burn that. She didn't get the stun that would have secured that kill there. Almost a little bit of hubris right there from them saying, oh, we got the landfall, we'll follow it up with a Snapdragon, it'll be fine, he'll be dead. But almost paying for it with McScrag's life with no Force of Nature burned from Mara in that engage. Almost.
And there's a couple of other things they could have done there, but I can understand them not wanting to unload all of their tools for a single kill.
Yeah, First Blood still not going to either team. I feel like in this fight we could see it happen. The big hog comes out. Cuss is the first one to go down. Otzi's going to pick up that kill. The Force of Nature from 50 Shades is going to chase down Feyrust. The Iceberg will lock him down. The last auto attack from Tulsa Ray is going to end that Varian's life. And this looks like a 2-for-0 exchange in the favor of BOB.
That Otzi Totsi on Gladiator Dibs getting ahead. Are we going to see the Pure Power Dibs? Is that going to happen?
I wouldn't put anything past Otzi.
I think
Otzi's a beast.
We can only hope. So Bob is going to take advantage of this, the 3-to-5 advantage right now. They're going to go ahead. They're going to push in this bottom binding in retaliation for SG taking the top binding. So now it's back to where we were. Before it was a little bit more even. SG having taken the top binding, Bob having taken that first Parasite, but now things are swinging back into Bob's favor.
Here comes Cuss, though, to potentially discover this slippery little otter, taking his power buff. McScrag finishes it off quickly enough. Cuss looks like he takes a scenic route and is going to go ahead and finish off these small fish camps before he realizes... And it's gone. How sad is he?
I am disappointed.
Moya is right around the corner, and he could get sandwiched here. 4 members of SG are all around. How slippery can this otter be? He's got a Desert Raider. He's got a Shoreman Tribe member, but there's the landfall picking up King of Mass. Going to drop him back down into the Bramble Crutch. Evaniscus is going to be the first one to fall in this fight. 50 Shades getting dangerously low from that feeding frenzy, and that's another 1-for-0 trade in the favor of BOB.
Iron Rust roaming down bot, not quite sure what he's doing there, in danger of getting caught out by Dibs. You don't want to get caught out by a Dibs. All he has to do is hit a Dream Wrap himself, hit a Ripple. He's going to catch you. You're not going to get away from him.
Yeah, absolutely. See the level advantage coming in right now. Tulsray on that Mikella, level 10 to the level 9 of Fayrust. Looking at the items, what these teams have purchased so far, you have the Discipline from Cuss along with the Growth. Fayrust, Ambition still sitting on that. Tulsa already 1-0 to 105 CS. Pain and Ambition, double legendaries, already super far ahead of that Fayrust, who's potentially hasn't gone back to buy just yet, but you'll see him do so very, very shortly. McScrag with the Ambition. Oatsy, we're going to see it. That's a Destruction Dibs, boys.
Absolutely.
50 Shades has the Devotion, Resilience, and Will, and Arborist being his best, putting on his best support kind of suit and buying Petulance, Clarity, eventually into a Duress.
Destruction Dibs. Never thought I would see that in the grand finals of our first tournament, but you know what? I'm actually really happy to see it.
Yep. I am super excited to see how hard that Ripple and those Nightmares will hit, and how good the Dream Wrap shields are going to be for his teammates. He can reactivate that 3 times. That's 3 pieces of movement speed plus 3 shields. It's very, very strong if you spread it out, or extremely strong if you put it all on one target, which you're capable of doing. The Burden of Knowledge comes out, spotting that pesky Parasite, making sure he hasn't moved anywhere in the past few minutes. Also spotting Arborist and Dibs around that pit. So, Parasite is up. Still stage 1 for the next 30 seconds. I'm wondering if Bob buys their time here and waits for it to evolve, because that's what it looks like they're going to try to do.
It does look like that's what they're going to try and do. Bob actually historically has been trying to secure 2 stage 1
Blink
Parasites.
into the Zalgus will not quite pick him up. A great Chains of Fate will keep a little bit of distance between himself and his Otter Pursuer. Oh, wow. Riptide comes out, knocking out Moya, but she pays for it. Amaranth goes down, and now 4 members of SG. A huge big haul onto Tulse will counteract the Blink. He gets stunned down. Tulse the second one to fall, and now McScrag finally picking up a target with that Landfall, going to drop him right back in, but another amazing blink from Acids gets out of there, and now Fayrust with a double kill. Can he make it a triple kill? Oatsy goes down, looking for a 4th. 50 Shades is going to use that Tree of Life and Stab Track to get on out of there. Arborist, with no more shards of his Iceberg left, cannot stop his pursuers. A Tetra kill from Fayrust, and this will most assuredly be a Parasite for SG.
This is a stage 2 Parasite. They're going to get a significant HP and power buff from this. Wow, what a turn of events for SG right there. Amazing composure, outstanding hook from Cuss onto Tulsa on Mikella. Mikella was trapped, couldn't get away, stunned, locked down. What can you say?
That all started with a pretty aggressive blink from Moya. I wasn't 100% sure if he had ultimate, because it was interesting for him to blink and not immediately ulti. He blinked and kind of started walking at Zalgus. I don't know quite what he was waiting on. I don't know if the cooldown was like almost up and he just kind of preemptively did
it was off cooldown.
It was, I don't know, it was a little strange for that. I feel like there was some miscommunication. I feel like McScrag didn't adequately follow up on that blink, and it allowed SG to clean up in a Tetra kill onto Fayrust's Varian. That is not what you want to see.
That is absolutely not what you want to see. In fact, Varian going back, capitalizing, picking up the Pain to go with his Ambition. He's got a Haste and 2 powers right now, so he is starting to get fed. 211 auto attack damage already.
But, I mean, we see this from BOB just about every game. They're pretty on point with the Spirit Well captures, and you see they're sending Tulsa up top to deal with this Variant. I feel like what they're trying to do there is just say, look, we're not going to let you take a Spirit Well of our own. If you're going to split push, you're going to have to split push against our ranged carry, and we're not going to give you free roam of this top.
You know, one thing I would say for that last team fight is that is the first time I've seen McScrag be anything but 100% confident of the moves. You could tell there was some indecision in his actions there on Moya. He went in, he was ready. You could tell he kind of had an itchy trigger finger for the Landfall, but he didn't pull it. He didn't pull it until maybe it was a little bit
all
too late.
ultimates coming out from SG. The engaged BOB are a little split up. Landfall whiffs onto Acids, and now Moya is stuck in the back line right now. Oatsy being taken dangerously low. The Icebergs are coming out, splitting up the members of SG. Final chapter does land true onto 2 members and actually takes down Oatsy, but Fayrust, again, playing out of his mind. Tulsa's trying to outplay him right now. This is 3v2. 50 Shades takes one down. 2v1. Tulsa, what can you do here? It's against 2 mage players. He goes down. That is an annihilation for SG.
Wow, amazing mechanical skill displayed on both sides of the map. But what can you say about Iron Rust plays right there? Outstanding. Just really good presence of mind. He did go down. Tulsa did manage to capitalize on that a little bit, but ultimately 3 for 5.
Yeah, and it's very important to note, early on in that fight, McScrag whiffed his Landfall. He went for Zalgus. He knew that the previous fight that happened when Fares got the Tetra kill, Zalgus had to burn his blink. It hadn't been 5 minutes since then. Had he caught Acids there, Acids would have been dead in the water.
Absolutely.
Right? 100%. No blink on Zalgus means you're practically dead if a landfall hits you. But he missed it. He didn't get to reposition Acids, and he was just in a terrible position kind of for the remainder of the fight. Wow, that was a great fight from SG, a great fight on the side of BOB, not quite able to finish it off there, but SG now in the lead, 9 kills to 7, 37 Spirit Well Workers to 30, 2 wells apiece for each team right now, and this game is anyone's right now.
Absolutely. I do think that we're starting to see a strategy evolve on how to deal with the mixed scrag problem for Surreal Gaming. They're baiting him out. They're trying to get him to overcommit. They want him to go deep in on their back line, because you know what? If he's back there, he's not getting back out, especially once he's blown his landfall.
Absolutely. SG playing very, very well right now. BOB not to be outdone. They're going to go ahead and push this tier 1 top binding or pull off. Either way, making me a liar, but that's quite all right. They're going to live to fight another battle. Going to go into their own jungle. It looks like some pings are coming out. Oh, maybe looking for a bait here? I mean, this well is in their control. Do they think SG is going to get greedy enough to go take this northern well? They could be playing right into BOB's hands. BOB has that ward on the power buff, and Bob could be looking for this fight. SG looks like they're going with their better judgment, maybe pulling back unless they get too greedy. That minion wave does spot out a lot of members of BOB. 2 brush. They're staring at each other from across the scrimmage line. What is going to happen? Otzi on the other side of the wall. Arborist throwing duress out. The avalanche onto 1 member, but a huge riptide from Taiga will knock up a few. The big haul pulls 2 in. McScrag is doing as much work as he can in the backline, picking up Fayrus, dropping it back down, and Fayrus is able to blink on out of there. This fight is going exceptionally well for BOP. That's 3 kills, 4 kills. Evaniscus, the last one alive, and Otzi is in hot pursuit. Triple kill for Dibs Power Otzi.
Wow, this is going to definitely give Bob that tier 1 top lane binding, maybe tier 2 at this point. That was a tremendous display from Otzi Tootsie on Power Dibs. As in 50 Shades of Alpha taking advantage of being up 3 to none right now. Going to take this top Spirit Well, giving them just more economy lead, a little bit more cushion to work with. Parasite has respawned. Unfortunately, Bob cannot take advantage of that. Both their jungler and their range physical carry are down for the count right now.
Yeah, they definitely need to, I would imagine, kind of hoof it back there, though, because SG is well aware of this Parasite being respawned. They know they have a few seconds where BOB has to back, they have to purchase items, and they have to run all the way back to Parasite. At the very least, I expect Acids to drop a new fresh ward, perhaps even further around the other side of Parasite, just so he can see when BOB are coming in. And he's going to use that Burden of Knowledge to make sure he is safe to do so. And there you go, a Northern Insight ward right next to that small mushroom camp. So BOB coming in. McScrag getting hit by the Chains of Fate and Great Rift takes him down to 3/4 HP. Acids is totally getting that point where he can one-shot people.
So, I mean, speaking of Acids, though, how about that last fight? Bob managed to completely neutralize Acids. He didn't even get a Chain of Fate off in there. Melted almost immediately. I think right now, Bob is prioritizing Acids.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something you have to do. These team fights are going exceptionally well for SG, I think because of these chains, because of the huge chains, because of the Great Rifts, because of the final chapters. Taking Acids out of the fight, I don't think SG has a huge... It takes away part of their wombo combo, right? Yep. And it's the easiest member of the wombo combo to take out. Because King of Mass building kind of tankily, it's got the duress, stuff like that. Amaranth, I think she also has a Pestilence or something, or maybe not quite yet, but she's building rather tankily as well. So the easiest member of the wombo combo to pick off, obviously Kaga, not really a choice, is that Zalgus. Right now, it looks like SG is going to trade a Parasite for a tier 2 binding. No, the Tailwind in. They're going to try to flank. Icebergs come out. There's a little bit of space left between it. Arborist not quite able to completely lock that off. He does get locked down. Taiga, who will it go to? The Spirit team. The Vanquish is true from McScrag, and now this fight, he does pick up 1 member. 50 Shades of Alpha taking that final chapter for the rest of his team. Fayrust a little bit too aggressive and in the middle of this fight, but he does not go down. SG being resilient. SG coming out on top of this fight. That is an annihilation for them, even though they didn't get the Parasite. That's 5 for 1.
Wow. Wow, SG showing. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit speechless right now. I'm just kind of sitting back here, just admiring that fight. That was a work of art. Otzi, I mean, they grabbed Otzi out of the air.
That's
Otzi
impressive.
was getting ready to go. They grabbed him out of the air.
That's an impressive play if I've ever seen one. This Tier 3 binding will fall in the favor of SG. Wow, oh wow, me, oh my. That was an incredible fight. B.O.B. rushing the Parasite down, not quite having enough damage to turn the fight after they did take it down for themselves, granted. So Striders are not quite in the favor. It is only 23 minutes. I take that back. No Tier 3 Parasite just yet. So the buff, completely wasted. No member of Bob is going to have that now. They did get the little Vim boost in their pocket, but I would almost rather have an Annihilation on my side than Parasite.
Mean, without a doubt, all 5 members of your team were there. Everybody was able to take advantage and take part in those kills. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Surreal Gaming came out on top with that one.
Taiga looks like he's going to take this opportunity to take a break, take a well, and then go back and purchase McScrag. Does the same for himself. He takes that Eastern Spirit well, and now it looks like he's going to go and see what this buff camp is like. Little does he know it was just taken by Feyras, and he could potentially be walking into 4 members of SG. They ping out McScrag. He does back on off. Up top lane, you've got Otzi and Sakari just farming it up. Going to go ahead and take that power buff, I'm assuming, because what does power Dibs need except for more power?
More power, absolutely. So Dibs, taking a look at Dibs' item already, he has a he has a divinity. He has a divinity. Of course he does. He has a divinity, a chaos, and a destruction.
Why the heck not?
Why not? He's going to be hitting super hard. Now, question, does his Dream Wrap actually scale with power?
I believe so. The
Yes,
shield should get bigger with his power. Look, George showing us that right there, 50 plus 48 damage, so that does scale a little bit. Not an amazing ratio, I'd say, but it's still something. Every point of power helps.
Every little bit helps indeed. So that is fairly significant, and maybe not significant for him on him, but let's look at it maybe say on Arborist or on Tulse or something like that. It's going to make a difference.
McScrag is playing with fire here, playing a little bit dangerously up front in this line. Is not spotted out just yet by a ward, but Acids will run into him in the jungle. The landfall comes out. Is Bob there to follow up? The Snapdragon comes out, but the Avalanche gets blinked by Acids. Taiga goes down. He was a little bit too far forward for his own liking, and Bob gets a great pick-off. But here is the rest of SG. Big Haul is up. Every ultimate is up. Sakari goes down immediately to those few auto attacks of Feyras plus Acids. Cuss looking for a big haul. Can he make it? The finale misses every member of B.O.B. The collateral will deter any more aggression from Cuss.
Wow, way to anticipate that finale from Bob there. They saw him blink in. They spread immediately. They knew that was coming. If he'd managed to land that, that could have been devastating from Zalgus, because Zalgus still does have his final chapter available.
I would have loved to be a fly on the wall of their voice comms when that happened. I just imagine everyone just yell, spread out, spread out, spread out. And they did masterfully. So nothing coming of it. 1-for-1 trade. I think it's kind of funny that the landfall went on to Zalgus, and he was able to blink away, but Amaranth lost her life. Kind of unfortunate for Taiga there.
That was kind of unfortunate, but I think at this point you would probably rather be Amaranth than Zalgus.
Yeah.
I mean,
Zalgus being...
You'd rather be nobody, but if you have to choose...
Zalgus is the target of the ire of B.O.B. Most every landfall has been on him. Most every avalanche has tried to drop on his head. Final payments are coming out on him. B.O.B. has to eliminate Acids, and they're doing everything they can, and they now have a window of opportunity to do so.
Yep.
Within the next 5 minutes, I would expect to see B.O.B. try to kill Acids. He has no blink, and that has been his kind of get out of Bob free card, if you will. He's been dodging avalanches. He's been getting out of landfalls. He's been getting out of snapdragons. He's been getting out of everything with that blink. Bob, though, responding with a push of their own, getting that tier 3 binding down to about half HP. They may actually end up taking it down. Evaniscus falling prey to a power Dibs and Sakari Wombo combo up top. The blink from McScrag will keep the distance between himself and that pursuing Kagan. All ultimates are up. If SG wants to go for something here, they need to. They need to go right now. The Blink Big Haul will only take McScrag, the Chaos Shell. He decides to pick up and actually reposition Cuss into the middle of Tulse. Tulse is able to take down Taiga. The final chapter lands onto Sakari, but Cuss still alive. His rebirth proccing. McScrag still alive throughout all of this. The icebergs come out, trying to protect her team from any pursuers. The inside shell from Feyruss will see that those mushroom camps have been taken, and B.O.B. gets out of there with a 2-for-1 trade.
How the hell did Moya 2-for-1? How the hell did Moya live? I seriously, I have no idea how McScrag managed to live there, but that was just the presence of mind, just the focus he had there. He got caught in the big haul from Cuss, managed, he blinked away, turned around, immediately came back with the landfall. Outstanding play, and basically eliminated Cuss from the fight. I mean, that is actually one of the greatest strengths, not just as a repositioning, but using Moya as a landfall as a way to basically eliminate especially effective shapers in a fight. Things like a Volek, things like a Kogan.
I think the only kind of misplay I saw from B.O.B. there was Otzi flew in really, really aggressively.
Yes.
He flew in to the left of the Parasite kind of wall, that kind of chasm, and that effectively separated it from his entire team.
Yes.
He didn't have any backup. He didn't have a way to really... He had to walk literally through SG to get to his own team for any kind of safety, and he paid with his life. The ward comes down from McScrag over the wall of the Parasite just so they can have vision of it. A lot of pings are coming out from both teams. They know Parasite's up. It is stage 3. It is all important. You get the Vim, you get the buff, and you get the Striders.
I will say this so far has been the most exciting game we've had today. This is really, really close. Like we were saying earlier, at this point, it's anyone's game. SG, they've got all their wards out. They've got total vision of the Parasite pit. Although I will say, their warding may not be as aggressive as they wanted. One of their wards just came off a cooldown there, so they're going to probably need to get something either maybe in Bob's jungle, in the middle jungle, or maybe in one of the lanes. Approach lanes
is going to get spotted out, but they look like they're trying to flank right now. 4 members of SG on that binding. Or they're just going to let Sakari actually zone that small pathway with her icebergs and potentially try to take a Parasite. King of Mass is going to be the one to be picked up, but Cuss is here with a one-man, a big haul only on Tamara. Taiga wave riders over the wall into his own doom. Sakari gets hit by the final chapter. Otzi and Acids are 1v1ing in this backline, and Power Dibs comes out on top. Cuss trying to get something out of this. He does get a 2-man stun. His rebirth not enough to keep him alive, and that is 5-for-1 in the favor of B.O.B. The Mortal team has been annihilated, and now Bob is looking to do Parasite.
Wow. Well, it's unfortunate because that was a great hook from Cuss on Kogan. That big haul. He actually managed to keep 50 Shades of Alpha from stunning and locking locking down Comp, Evaniscus on Comp. But it was all for naught because they turned around. Bob showed the focus that they had, and man, just let them have it. Just let SG have it.
So Feyruss 10-4-9, 225 CS, ambition, pain, justice, dominance. He will be hurting in these team fights. Cuss, pretty tanky. He's got the subjugation, he has the rebirth, he has the freedom, and the equilibrium. Really easy applications of that through his Q. Acids, life, destruction, chaos, divinity, aggression. Evaniscus, with that corruption this time, freedom, duress, and pestilence. And Taiga going very glass cannon amaranth here. I want to point that out. Destruction, divinity, and chaos. So he's not building... sometimes you see these tactician mages build pretty much exactly like Arborus, who has the pestilence, who has the duress, stuff like that. Instead, you see Taiga effectively being another high burst damage mage on his team. I don't know how I feel about that.
All the damage in the world isn't going to do you any good if you're not hitting your riptides, not hitting your tidal prisons, and that's been the case so far. Taiga may have a lot of damage, but he hasn't actually been a real factor in these team fights to this point.
Yeah, last fight, he aggressively wave rided over the wall and got eliminated. He got deleted, and he wasn't quite able to do as much damage as he would have liked to. With Amaranth, with that high damage, high burst damage, you at least want to try to get 1, maybe 2, in a perfect world, 3 combos off between your Tidal Prison, your Feeding Frenzy, and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think he may have been able to get 1. Maybe that's it.
I think
that's not going to be enough damage to take down this tanky and very aggressive team from B.O.B.
I think right now we're going to see Bob rotating top. They're going to focus on pushing in the last 2 bindings up on top, and then they're just going to play solid. I mean, I think they've been tested this match, this game, more than they have in previous games, even from SG. So I think they're gonna fall back on their mechanics. They're gonna start rotating solidly. They're gonna do everything they can to bait the fights out. Make sure they set things up in a position on the map where it's to their advantage.
I feel like, at this point in time, we're seeing, I would definitely say, probably the two best teams in Dawngate competitive right now, and they are bringing out the absolute best in each other. As iron sharpens iron, so too shall Bob sharpen SG. These games have been fantastic, and I'm excited to see the rest of the series. 21 kills to 19 kills, BOB in the favor. All 4 Spirit Wells taken, 75 Spirit Well workers to the 0 of SG.
That is a fairly intimidating 4 cap right there.
Yeah.
The Spirit Wells generating the passive income for Bob, giving them more of a lead as the seconds tick by.
This tier 2 binding is in the sights of BOB. That bot lane being solo pushed by a power Dibs. What can SG do about it? The Reverie can come out anytime to join his teammates. He's taking down cores. All 5 members of SG have to defend that tier 2 binding, and Dibs is in. There's the blink hook onto Toes, barely misses. That is an awful cooldown to blow for Cuss. Dibs is going to take down a core, and SG is going to get absolutely nothing for it. That's 1 core. He's working on a 2nd. But if they go back to defend it, they lose a tier 2 binding, and Dibs just flies away. Power Dibs is incredible. Otzi is playing this so perfectly.
We are seeing the beginning of the reign of Dibs. All hail Dibs, our Lord and Savior.
Fayrust had to go deal with Dibs. Dibs flies back in with a Reverie, making this fight effectively 4v5 in the favor of BOB. The Chaos Shell in the binding is trying to do enough damage to BOB to give this fight to SG, but no one is going down. Everyone is living with almost no health. The final protocol will land true onto King of Mass, and he falls. Final payment. This isn't Ferris. This is McKellar. We have too many finality things in the game. Final
you know
payment,
what? It doesn't matter. Nothing
chapter.
is important except for the fact that Dibs is a god.
Yeah, Dibs is a god.
All praise Dibs.
But let's just do this again. Final chapter, final payment, final flight, final protocol. Boom. There you go.
So I think what you're telling Dibs is the designer Dibs. Hey, we need some more things that are called final.
Absolutely, we need that because oh man, 23 kills to 20. They did get a hook right there onto Arborus, and he died, but BOB really, it doesn't matter. They are playing so confidently right now. They're playing like they're so far ahead because in essence they really are. These Spirit Well workers are 100% in their favor, 102 to 0. They may be only 3 kills up, but they've gotten parasites. They've gotten the wells. The quicksand, just a little bit too late from Cuss.
Okay, so I think that Cuss is going to take advantage of this right now, and they're going to go and they're going to hit the Spirit Well, try and get a little bit of the economy game back.
Power buff being donated over to Fayrust. That Spirit Well not even bothering with it, actually. Too scared of the potential collapse from BOB. They're respecting the mobility of BOB, and they're respecting what they could get done to a lonely variant. Parasite started up, but then decided against by BOB. Oh, they're going to come back. It looks like Evaniscus on that King of Mass just flourishing away. These wards, ever important, are starting to stack up around the Parasite pit so that both teams have vision.
They don't see.
Fayrust
Bob did
does
not
go
see
back.
Iron Rust going back though. They're not. They don't know that he's not there.
If they did, they would do this Parasite 100%. I believe, without a question. Instead, they're going to send their Mikella and Moya down bot lane. Evaniscus playing a little bit too far, a little bit split from his team. You know, if you get split from your team, here there be otters, and they're ready to pick you up. Evaniscus is going to get caught out. The Reverie from Dibs is going to come out to slow him. The Tailwind is not going to be able to put enough distance. The finale, however, could be the disengage that he needs.
Nope.
I take that back. He dies. So King of Mass goes down, and now it looks like BOB are going to turn their attention to Parasite.
You know, that is the third or fourth time now that Evaniscus has been caught out. He needs to stop doing that. If he wants his team to stay in, he's got to stop beating Bob.
If you want to win games, stop getting called out. Andy's Will Belford 2014.
2014, that's
I like
right.
it a lot. Spirit Team now spawning Striders with that Parasite buff, with that extra Vim boost. Bob looking really good, especially if some members of SG just start getting slowly out of position. They can now turn one pick and kill into the game, potentially.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, They're going to take this binding. I don't think it's going to be much challenge here. Nope, goes down.
Oh, McScrite decides to bolt in, followed by the landfall. The Reaper Beam comes out. He actually positions him to the side of the Reaper Beam, and Cuss getting taken very low. Throws out the big haul for good measure into the Wombo combo of the Riptide, but it's not quite enough. The final chapter from Acids is not going to do anything. The Snapdragon just barely missing its mark from 50 Shades of Alpha, but that is an annihilation. The last man standing. Tetra kill from Tulse answers for us Tetra kill earlier in the game. King of Masks is now the last one standing. Can he defend this core from 5 members of BOB? I would expect not, and now he definitely cannot. He's dead. An unofficial Omni kill from Tulse will be all they need to finish this game and go up 1 game in the series against SG in the grand finals of the Race to the Gate Northern Qualifier Beta Tournament Series. I'm tired.
Wow. How fast did that game just close out? That was outstanding. Amazing gameplay from Tulse. I would say we saw some really outstanding